Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Trading Problems. Now I'm looking at trader problems from every possible perspective I could think of anyway, and all the stuff that I went through since 2005. And the important thing here is, though, the solution I'm always giving from time price trading perspective. So I'm not giving any other solution from all the other perspectives you might find on YouTube, because here I'm just dedicated to trading with time price, which means we calculate the swing days in advance, we calculate the swing hours, the trading hours of the day in advance with pricing. Okay, so let's take a look at what is problem number 4. Okay, the fourth problem: market volatility, sudden price movements, news and events. Now with sudden price movements, this could be due to economic calendar, or it could be any sudden fundamental news. It could be all kinds of news, whatever. It could be the president having a speech, and all of a sudden the markets are going up and down. So all kinds of sudden price movements, maybe geopolitical, natural disasters, what have you. Plus the news events can cause sudden moves in the market. So how can price and time really help you with this? So let's first take a look at some charts and let's see what we do here. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand one little thing. When I calculate swing days, I'm calculating them like from months ago. All of 2025 was calculated in 2024. All of 2024 was already calculated in 2023. So when I'm calculating swing days, there are two ways to calculate swing days. One, you can calculate it for the long term. So if you want long-term swing days, you can calculate those, which I do on a custom basis. Or for the more general, we're calculating the swing days that can happen within a week, because majority of us are day trading. So we like to get into a trade and get out during the day. Or if we've got swing days and a flow day, we can kind of like hold it for 2-3 days actually. In fact, from Monday to Friday, sometimes we can keep adding positions and hold the initial position all that time, because we've got swing days like Monday and Friday. So we're kind of like following those days through. So calculating the swing days is absolutely very highly accurate, this like regardless of what the news is. So I have complete disregard for the news. I do not care about the news. Sometimes you will have me look at the economic calendar, because that's when I am now looking at the hours and checking if my trading hours are coinciding with news, because if that's the case, we can have a good entry opportunity there. And I like getting into the trade. So the important thing to understand is we're calculating the swing days way in advance, the swing hours way in advance. In fact, on the website, I've shown on numerous videos that we've got all of April already up here. So we know every week and every day what is a swing day, and in those days, Monday to Friday, what the swing hours are. And those are the days we want to cherry pick for trading. So the news is irrelevant, because this works despite the news. So it doesn't matter what any politician says, what news comes out, we're all good to go. Now, also sometimes I'll make comments. For example, here you'll see last Monday, we need to take care until 6 o'clock, but if it finds direction, it should continue to 9:30 and possibly to 11:30, right? So on some of those days, I've got comments like that. And for yesterday as well, for example, for yesterday, I did have a comment as well. Let's take a look at that too. This is for the week of 7 to 11 April. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, I've said yesterday, Monday, these are the trading hours, right? And I said we're targeting 9:50 to 10:35, but what I've said here is I've made a comment here. Be careful as we get closer to 6:15 to 7:15. So not at 6:15 to 7:15, but as we're getting to 6:15 to 7:15, I'm expecting volatility in the market. This is disregardless of the news. Whether there's news or not is irrelevant for us at that time. Now, for the sake of argument, let's take a look at the news as well. Now, yesterday, we had FOMC meeting minutes, right? And this was at 9 o'clock. Now remember, my hours are UTC plus 3, as you can see here, right? because I'm giving the hours according to my time zone, and you can just check it on any, on any internet website how they correspond to your standard time zone. But accordingly, we only had 9:15. So logically, if I was to trade according to the news, I'd say, well, we've got 9:15 that's coming out, but and the volatility supposedly should happen after then, right? Because the guy is talking at 9:15, so we should have volatility afterwards. Logically, that should be the situation. However, we're not going with logic, we're going with calculation. So I should know before or after when there's going to be volatility. And then I said if the market then afterwards should target 9:55 to 10:35, okay? And then that's the move you're going to see, and that's that, okay? So if I take a look at 6:15 to 7:15, this is 6:15, this is 7:15, okay? So the market goes down, okay? It does the volatility, as you can see in the New York session. You can see the bars are a little bigger here. Should I make this a little, enlarge this a little bit so you can see, okay? You can see that opening session, that's where the volatility was, okay? And then that volatility died out between 6:15 and 7:15. You can see the bars getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we're coming down here into the time price zone. Now this was 2,953.56 from our weekly PST indicator. As you can see, that's the weekly PST indicator. Can you not see? Let me just do this. Maybe we can just do this a little bit. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So look, here you got 61 at the bottom. Now every dotted line, every red line, every line here has a price. Okay. If we get to a target price, if it is a swing day or a swing hour or both ideally, we can trade. Now let's take a look at gold. Last Thursday we had a swing day. This week swing day is on a Tuesday, so which is today, right? So I've got a Tuesday here. What do we see on a Monday? Also, what is the comment I made for Monday? If we go back here, I have said the market should be targeting 9:55, 10:35 or 11:50 all the way to 11:50. Market might get to a good level for a turn at closing, and Asia might be good to get in if time equals price. Okay, what are the hours for Asia? Let's take a look. So if I scroll down a little bit, all right, so this is Asia and this is today's video, right? So I've got in Asia 2:35. Okay, obviously that's my time zone. So Asia starts trading at it starts trading at my midnight, but that's 2:35. So if I go back to the chart and if I go to the 15-minute chart, I've already said, let me tighten this up a little bit. I've already said that this zone where the market came to, which is right on the price here, you can see it bounced right on the price, and I've got the trading hour here. So this is kind of nice and easy, following all the way through, and this is that 2:35 in Asia. Okay, so I said this is a good zone because if we get to a price target, okay, and it's a swing day Tuesday, and if I have an opportunity at 2:35, you can see that's pretty spot on. This is a 15-minute chart, and that's your 2:30 bar. So 2:35, the market, boom, starts going up on the next bar, and here we are. Now today as well, in today's video, which you will see on YouTube the day after, you'll see that I also mentioned, guys, this is not a bad place for the market to push through, because I said today could be a flow day, all right, which means that could kind of like all the hours could just flow into 6:20. I did mention 6:20, that's right, in New York morning session, which is 6:20 p.m. my time, UTC +3. So now, as you can see, no matter what happens, despite all the market volatility and news, so news came out yesterday, the guy was talking Fed talk at 9:15, but we already anticipated, I already talked about the volatility, okay, until 6:15 to 7:15, and then I wasn't expecting volatility. As you can see, here's where euro dollar picked up exactly at 6.15 to 7.15, comes back to retest the closing 11.50. Remember that time? 11.50 coming into 11.45 there. Market closes, that's 2.35, and then you can see market going up. Now, is today a swing day for euro dollar? Okay, this is 7 to 11, euro dollar Tuesday swing day. Okay, so from the low, getting in there is not a bad idea. Let's take a look at the daily, and that's your Tuesday swing day. Why are we getting in from here? Because the last time we had a swing day, it was Friday, right? And Friday market sold off. And then we have yesterday, Monday market sold off. Now look where the market is buying. This is a PST level. It's 57.64. 57.64 is a price of 1.0902. So I go to my 15-minute chart. That is your 1.0902. And I remember that there was a comment about it. Whoops, not on this one, but on this one. Okay, for Monday. Okay, that getting into the market 11.50 or in Asia at 2.35, which is that's your 2.35 there, okay, in the Asia session is not a bad idea. So now I'm in a good price level, which is right off my PST on the daily, 1.0902 exact, okay, according to this platform. And then the market goes up. Now, if I already know this, if I'm getting in at an ideal price, the low of the day, plus it's a trading hour, then this is bound to cover itself at least, even if things go pear-shaped and I lose, let's say everything all of a sudden turned around. Let's assume for a moment that this went up here and then all of a sudden the market just crashed. Okay, it did something crazy. London is going to start pre-trading session about half an hour, 45 minutes according to my time, and let's say the market did something really crazy and all of a sudden it just crashed. What difference does it make? Because from here to here I'm already up with a tight stop loss just under the low of that price. So my stop loss is really tight and my targets are already 1 to 3, 1 to 4 within this time period. And then all I have to do is measure the hours. So if I take a look at the hours, let's take a look at Tuesday. Okay, so I've got what? 7:10, 7:50. So as you can see, up to 10:35 here, I've got a few hours, haven't I? So let's take a look at 10 past 9, 10:35, 10 past 9. This is that 7 o'clock, by the way. So 10 past 9 is just there. Okay, and I've got 9:35 here. Now remember, I'm expecting a bit of a flow day today. Okay, so the market can continue upwards. But let's say I was wrong and I got it wrong. Okay, possible. You can't win them all. And all of a sudden, the market from here just crashed down. Okay, because I'm also expecting possibility to fill in gaps with the euro dollar. So I've got targets below as well. So if that was to happen, I would not have lost any money because the entrance is great. I can cover the trade with at least 1 to 2 at least on the daily. Here 1 to 3, and here I'm just laughing. Okay, because if this trade still goes in my direction, I should be flowing into the high of yesterday, or according to my PST 10.56 for today, up into there. Okay, but because we're in right at the bottom of the market, because PST and time plus the comments I made from yesterday as to how to follow this through was already there, all of the market volatility, the news, everything, I could not have calculated that beforehand if news really mattered, if what politicians were saying and doing really mattered. I could not have calculated the whole of 2024 from 2023. How am I to know what Trump is going to do on any day? You can't know. You can't know what any Fed or any central bank is going to do with the interest rates or whatever. We cannot know, and I don't know when they're going to be giving out news either, or they're going to be jumping up and down doing something. I don't know. But what I do know is we've got a swing day, swing hour, and price. And if they match, it's a bingo day. And that's all we need to know. Now that brings us to the conclusion that having calculated all of this beforehand, okay, before the presidents changed, before all this conflict now between the US and other countries, all of this was calculated before. So time and price is independent of our fourth problem. So all of the problems regarding market volatility with respect to sudden price movements, news, events is just irrelevant. We can overcome all of it simply by calculating or trading on swing days, swing hours with pricing, and none of that will matter. This is time and price. So this is a problem for traders, and this is how we solve it.